Muria, Zimbabwe. He used gender-based violence to give away a car, and nobody's talking about it. Welcome back, Pamzinda Wevanu. Now, before I start, let me be very clear about something. XQ is a legend, a genuine, certified 25-year Zimbabwe music legend. Msalala, Mazrudo, Pandakakuona, Nzenza. This man built a career on pure talent and hard work at a time when the Zimbabwean music industry gave artists almost nothing in return. He absolutely deserves recognition. He deserves celebration. He deserves a Mercedes Benz if someone wants to give him one. This video is not about XQ, Zimbabwe. This video is about the man who gave him the car, the statement he used to justify it, and the three words buried in the middle of that statement that nobody is talking about, but everybody should be. Three words: the Second Republic. Stay with me, family, because what I'm about to show you is manipulation at its most sophisticated. Gift wrapped in music appreciation, signed with an anti-GBV message, and delivered with a smile. But underneath all of that warmth and generosity, there's a political operation running. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it, Maurice Mbab. All right, so let's get into the statement and Tutuveringa carefully. Let us go through Weakness Chivayo's post word by word, because the devil, as they say, is always in the details. He starts beautifully, celebrating excuse artistry, his longevity, his influence on urban grooves and Zim hip hop, genuine appreciation, and honestly accurate. Every word at that section is true and deserved. Then he quotes excuse anti-GBV message, the artist's song where he says, let's love our women, let's not harass our women, let's not call our women names. Again, a genuine, powerful, important message, one that Zimbabwe genuinely needs. GBV is a real crisis in this country. Women are being abused, harassed, killed. Any platform that speaks against that deserves credit. And then, right there, in the middle of celebrating a musician's anti-GBV advocates, Chivayo writes this sentence, and I want you to read it carefully. It goes like this: that is the remark of true artistry and a reflection of the Second Republic's tough stance against GBV and all forms of abuse against women. There it is, the Second Republic, inserted into a personal social media post about giving a musician a car. Not in a government press release, not in an official statement, in a post that starts with Ndirimusalala and ends with fire emojis. Why is the Second Republic in that sentence? XQ wrote his anti-GBV song because he is conscious. He is a conscious artist who cares about his community. He did not write it as a government assignment. He did not write it because the Second Republic commissioned it. He wrote it because it was the right thing to say. And Chivayo deliberately, calculatedly, has taken that independent artistic expression and reframed it as evidence of government virtue. That is not appreciation. That is appropriation. Praise Babu. Triple. Right. Let's talk about the pattern. This is not the first time. Before we go deeper on the GBV angle, let me show you that this XQ gift is not an isolated act of generosity from a music lover with deep pockets. This is a system, a deliberate, consistent, expanding system of influence purchasing that has been running for over a year. Investigations have revealed that Chivayo spent over $9.3 million on luxury cars and gifts within a single 12-month period, raising questions about the sources of his income and the transparency of government contracts awarded to his companies. $9.3 million in 12 months on gifts. Let us count some of them together. Japreza gifts totaling nearly $1 million, including a 2025 Range Rover autobiography, $150,000 cash. Toki Vibes, a Mercedes Benz GLE 350D, valued at $90,000. Mudiwa Hood, a Mercedes Benz, valued at around $60,000. Shinzo, a Mercedes Benz C200. Ruben Barrow, a 2025 Toyota Land Cruiser. A Land Cruiser VXR, and $100,000. Bishop Mtendi, 2026 Mercedes Benz, $450,000 plus a pledge of US $2 million donations. His own lawyer, $50,000. The Zifa president, 2 vehicles in 2 separate gifts, one costing 3.2 million rands and one costing 4 million rands. And MPs, $10,000 each up. Every single one of the 360 legislators announced publicly, because you know, $5 million. Musicians, my journalists, bishops, football officials, lawyers, MPs, politicians, athletes, the list keeps growing. Every sector, every influential category, every person with a platform or a vote or a following. And now, excuse, with an anti-GBV message attached, and the Second Republic branded into the middle of it. This is not generosity, Mure Zimbabwe. This is infrastructure, an influence infrastructure being built systematically, one Mercedes at a time, across every sector of Zimbabwean public life. Let's talk about the gender-based violence insult, the part that should make you angry. Now, let us talk about why the gender-based violence angle specifically is the most offensive part of this entire post. And I say this as someone who takes gender-based violence extremely serious. Zimbabwe is a genuine, devastating gender-based violence crisis. Chivayo highlighted excuse advocates, noting that such work reflects the mark of true artistry. Fine, that part is true. But then he connects it directly to the Second Republic's tough stance against GBV. So let us talk about that tough stance. Let us talk about what the Second Republic's actual record on women looks like right now. At the Cape 3 public hearings, the constitutional hearings that are supposed to be the people's opportunity to speak about their own constitution, female activists were among those abducted, harassed, and intimidated for daring to oppose the bill. Women who showed up to public hearings as citizens exercising their constitutional right to participate in governance were treated as threats. The Zimbabwe Gender Commission, the board whose entire mandate is to protect women's rights and advance gender equality, is being abolished in Cape 3, Zimbabwe. One of the 21 amendments buried in that bill is the removal of the Gender Commission, a board that exists specifically to protect women, being deleted by the same government whose tough stance on GBV Chivayo is celebrating in an XQ car post. And the man writing that post, Chivayo himself, is the same man whose $3.6 million MP gift operation was designed to purchase votes for a bill that abolishes the institution mandated to protect women, while using a female artist's anti-GBV advocates to brand the whole thing as feminist friendly. Using excuse, the male artist, this man, Zimbabwe. That is not tough stance against GBV. That is using gender-based violence as a costume, wearing the language of women's protection while simultaneously funding the legislative removal of women's institutional protections. And doing it so smoothly, so visibly, so casually, in a social media post with fire emojis that most people scroll past without noticing. Zimbabwe, where does the money come from? We cannot have this conversation without asking the question that Zimbabweans deserve an answer to. Where is this money coming from? Chivayo is the founder and CEO of Intratrek Zimbabwe, a company that has secured several government contracts, notably in the energy sector. One of the most prominent is the Gwanda Solar Project, valued at approximately $172 million. Despite receiving substantial payments, the project has faced delays and controversies regarding its execution. $172 million contract. Substantial payment received. Zimbabwe. And the man who received those payments is spending $9.3 million a year on gifts while Zimbabweans cross into Zambia for healthcare. The U.S. Treasury Department has designated Chivayo, noting that he has provided high-value gifts to senior members of the government of Zimbabwe to gain access to resources and exert significant control over major sectors of Zimbabwe's economy. The Americans documented it, named it, sanctioned it, just like Zanata Gwire. A man who gains government contracts by gifting senior officials is now gifting everyone else with the proceeds of these contracts. The circle is elegant in its corruption. Government money becomes contracts. Contracts becomes gifts. Gifts become loyalty. Loyalty becomes more contracts. And the whole machine keeps running, branded with anti-GBV messaging and fire emojis. What XQ should know and what Zimbabwe should decide. Now, family, let me speak deliberately to the XQ question because I know some of you are thinking it. Should he have taken the car? That is a deeply personal question, and I am not going to answer it for him. XQ is a grown man who has navigated this industry for 25 years with more wisdom than most. He knows what Zimbabwe is. He knows who Chivayo is. And he will live with whatever that decision means for his legacy. What I will say is this: the artists who have accepted these gifts have found themselves, whether they intended to or not, becoming part of the PR architecture of a political project. Every Mercedes given to a beloved musician is a Mercedes that makes Chivayo more popular, more untouchable, more able to say, look at what I do for Zimbabwe's culture. Look at what I do for our artists. Look at how much I love this country. And that popularity, that carefully cultivated image of generous patron of the arts is the same image being used by MPs, fund constitutional amendments, and brand the abolition of the Gender Commission as a tough stance against GBV. The artists are not villains, Zimbabwe. They are being used. And the most important thing any Zimbabwean artist can do right now is understand the full picture of what they are walking into when they accept a call from Victor at Exquisite Motors. So, tichivhara nyaya yefamily, Chivayo ended his post with straight salad, fire emojis, applause emojis, and I want to end this with this. Real salad, genuine, nourishing, good for you salad, does not need to be dressed in government branding to taste good. Excuse music does not need the Second Republic's endorsement to be excellent. His anti-GBV advocacy does not need Chivayo's validation to be meaningful. His 25-year career does not need a Mercedes to be legitimate. The manipulation in that post is not about XQ. It is about using XQ, using his genuine talent, his genuine advocacy, his genuine legacy as a vehicle. Not a Mercedes GOE 450, a vehicle for political image building, for government branding, for the continued construction of an influence infrastructure that is buying Zimbabwe's culture, its leadership, its constitutional future, one gift at a time. And the gender-based violence angle is the most cynical part of all, because gender-based violence is real. The women suffering are real. The activists being abducted at public hearings are real. The Gender Commission being abolished in Cape 3 is real. And wrapping a car giveaway in their pain, using their struggle as decoration for a political operation, is an insult that deserves to be named. Straight salad, no family. This one is a very bitter dressing underneath. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was this manipulation or genuine appreciation? And does accepting a Chivayo gift compromise an artist's independence? This is your boy, Pamzinda Webana, fearless, always, pro-democracy, forever. Peace.